Right guys, welcome back to Manchester Mad Ventures. Just a little bimble in the woods today, and because it's just a little bimble in the woods, I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you my winter loadout for my haversack, this bad boy. So whenever I go out, generally I have a small pack on or a rucksack if we're going for other kinds of trips, longer trips, weekends and weeks away. But for a day trip, it's nice to have a haversack. Haversacks are popular at the moment. There's all different types. Mine's basically a canvas, cotton canvas bag that I bought off the internet some time ago. If I can find the link, I'll put it in there for you. I've customized it a little bit myself. But haversacks are just basically a hard wearing bag. Some are made of wax cottons, some are made like the Duluth packs, like bomb proof with leather and brass rivets and things like that. I just wanted a bag, so I found this one a few years ago. Very happy with it, so much so Julie's got one too. She's got a similar one. She saw mine, had a play with it, really liked it. But first, let's get a cuppa on. I'll be using the Lixada little meth stove today. I have brought some fuel. It does say meths on there, but the sharp-eyed amongst you will say, well, that's not meth because it's not purple. And you'd be absolutely right. This is bioethanol. It's almost exactly the same, and I find it doesn't soot up your pans quite as much. So, meths by any other name. Now, one thing I will stand accused of is liking good coffee. So while we're out waiting for the kettle to boil, I'll just let you know one of my favourite brands. This is it, Contact Coffee. This one's called Red On. It's a veteran-owned company. They don't just do coffee, they do all sorts of things. And today, for the snack, we're having this real meal bar. It's double espresso and hazelnut, so you can see where I'm going with this. So we'll give that a go. They do things like hot chocolate, they do things like gift mugs, and you can get coffee mugs, like insulated coffee mugs, all sorts of things. Some really good kit, but the coffee is second to none. This one's called the Red On. I think this is the strongest one they do. And there's another one they do that I really like called Battle Prep that comes in a blue packet similar to that one. So if you like good coffee, check out the Contact Coffee Company. These ones are in single sachets, they're a coffee bag, but you can also buy just the coffee grounds. I like the single serving coffee bags because when you're out in the woods, if it gets a bit damp, gets a bit rainy, you haven't got to worry about them at all. And they're just perfect. So I'll leave that while I have my brew. While I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, I thought I'd just pan round this woodland. It's got a little bit of history with me. Many years ago, I used to be a countryside ranger in this area, and I planted quite a few trees here, and it's amazing how in 40 years all of this can grow up to be semi-mature forest. There's a lot of alder in here, a lot of beech, ash. In some other places there's some birch, hazel, but I'm really pleased. So in one lifetime, all of this has kind of sprouted up. It's lovely, isn't it? Oh, not long. There she blows. Oh, you know what? Sometimes it's great to just get out in the into nature. I think it's underrated. It's raining today. It's a bit cold, but we're surrounded by beautiful things. You know, autumn's ended, winter's beginning. The leaves are dropping. There's lovely browns and oranges and yellows on the floor, and I think it's great to get out, and especially at this time of year. I know, you know, Christmas is coming, and I know sort of like the winter and sort of Christmas, New Year time, lots of people are out enjoying themselves, and those that can't get out or, you know, suffering through mental health problems, you know, may struggle this time of year. But I'd like to say to you, if you can, just grab a coffee, you know, grab your haversack. Doesn't even have to be a haversack, a Tesco's bag. Grab yourself something to cook on, grab some water and a brew, get yourself out here and just decompress for a bit. You know, don't think about bills, don't think about, you know, what's going on. Just be in the nature. It's really good for you. It's really good for your mental health. So I'm a real advocate. You know, we can all sit and watch telly or doom scroll on YouTube or TikTok or whatever it is that people use these days, but just to get out and unplug yourself, and I mean that in the absolute sense of just nothing. You know, some basic tools, a fire or a little stove, some water and a coffee. It can really lift your spirits. So don't forget to do that. So like you can see, we're both out in the rain, having a bit of fun, aren't we? Yeah, so you know, it's important you get yourself out. This is Julie, for those that haven't met before. She's like the powerhouse of Manchester Madventures. She does a lot in the background that you probably won't see, but she's always out and about. You know, she's been to the Arctic. She's been hiking in Norway, pack rafting. This woman will just do everything. I mean, literally everything. She's knitted these, the Juju hats, in -30, and now we're just enjoying a brew. Like I said earlier in the video about these haversacks, this is my one. Julie's got a similar one. She saw it, she liked it, so yeah, she's got all her sort of like day hike stuff in there. So we're totally self-sufficient, the pair of us. So we're going to try this now. It's from the Contact Coffee Company, and it's called a Real Meal Double Espresso and Hazelnut 1 bar complete nutrition. It's very sort of like gung-ho. Do more, go further, don't stop. So I'm thinking when it says don't stop, I'm thinking it's probably going to give us a bit of a caffeine hit. So let's open it up and see what we got. Oh, kind of looks like almost like a brownie. It's quite chewy looking. Let's give it a go. Try some out. A little bit. There you go. So here we go. Real Meal Double Espresso and Hazelnut. That's really good. That is really good. So yeah, Contact Coffee Company, 5 stars for that one. I'll be getting that one again. You get a lot of these so-called survival bars and food bars that last for 20 years or something, and it's like eating balsa wood. Don't know whether it has the calories in here. It's 150 grams, and per 150 grams there's 611 calories, so it's quite a lot. I wouldn't say it's a whole day, but you know, if that's all you had and you were up on a mountain flagging a bit, get one of them down your gullet. I think you'll be good to go to get all the way down again. So yeah, I'll be buying these again. Thumbs up. Okay, so as happens in Manchester quite a lot, you can see it's started to rain. I've got my hat on, but luckily because we've got the haversack, I've got a methods of shelter in here, so we'll be putting that up and we'll actually showing you it in action. Also with the hat, this is a merino and alpaca wool hat. These are made by the other part of Manchester Mad Ventures, the you know, the creative part, Julie, and everybody that comes out with us to the Arctic gets one of these, and they fondly call it the Juju hat. So we do go out to the Arctic quite a lot. We're not like a company, and we don't do courses. It's just a group of friends, and we call ourselves the Sub-Zero crew. So every time we go out, if we have a new person that comes, in order to be awarded the Juju hat, they've got to reach 0 degrees on both scales. So that's 0 degrees centigrade and 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about -14 centigrade. So once they've done that, they get issued one of these, handmade by the lovely Julie. You can have them in all sorts of colours. And for those that are in the know, you know, don't you? These are toasty warm. I've owned a lot of hats in my time. I do like hats. I've got the Buffy hat, I've got the Ramirez possum fur hat, but these just merino and alpaca, what a mix. There you have it, after a couple of minutes, the Onewind ultra lightweight poncho. We've got a reasonable size shelter. You can certainly, if you're hunking it down, sleep under here. You could use it as part of another shelter system, like if you're doing a debris shelter, certainly more waterproof than leaves. They do have these little things, these are the sleeves. You can pull them out a little bit, just to give yourself a little bit more room, but to be honest, just flick them back or leave them there, they're fine. Now we can get on with the video. So we've got the Onewind tarp up, we can continue filming, we're warm, we're dry, it's great. The thing I'm kneeling on at the moment, because the ground is absolutely sopping wet, is a kneeling mat. It's got 100% wool on the top, it's got wax canvas on the back, and there's an array of poppers and studs so you can use it as a pillow, things like that. I'd like to say I've made this, but I haven't. It's made by my great friend Riam at Red Fox Bushcraft. If you like projects, if you like old school bushcraft and things like that, go and check out his channel. He does modern stuff, he does old school, he's a very creative chap. He makes things like this. He can make everything from a massive sort of storage barn to the gypsy caravans with the boat tops and things like that. The guy is possibly the most creative chap I know. On his channel he's got lots and lots of tutorials. You can make these, you can make lamps, you can make market wallets so that you can carry your stuff from the shops to your camp, water carriers, everything you can think of that you can make. He's probably made it, and if he hasn't, drop him a message and say, have you ever thought of making one of these? And I guarantee by the next week he's probably got something coming up. So check him out, like and subscribe to him, Riam at Red Fox Bushcraft. You can't miss it. Great channel, great ideas, and the guy's just going to go from strength to strength. Right, onto the video content itself. This is my haversack. I've told you what it's about, it's just a bag, but let's see what's inside. So first off, in this little bag I carry the Onewind ultralight rain poncho. It's up above me at the moment, but on the way out, if it's still raining, I may well put it on. I may well not. I've got wool on at the moment. I'm warm, I'm dryish, so unless it's an absolute downpour, I'm all right with the wool. But if it starts hooning down later, you can guarantee that this bad boy's going on. So another thing with dual uses, you've got a tarp, you've got shelter, you've got a ground sheet if you needed it, and you've got its intended purpose as a poncho. It comes in this little bag so you can see how small it is. So there we go. Next, what I'll do, I'll just move to this to the side. I always carry, and Julie always carries one as well, is a Shemagh or Shemagh or Kathie, I think they're sometimes called. So it's just a lovely piece of cloth that you can use. You can use it as a towel. We've used them as towels, we've used them as bandages. You can use them to keep the sun off, keep the sand out if you're in places like the desert, which we have been. And you can literally, you know, this thing, you could probably even chop it up, put it in a tinder tin and make charcloth with it. So absolutely lovely, versatile bit of kit. Like I say, I've carried one for many years. Julie carries one, a couple of my mates carry them. They don't weigh anything, and they're just a really versatile piece of kit. So next in the bag that I used for the shelter as well is a bag of cordage. It's just a little canvas bag, and in here I keep all my cordage organised. What I've used for this is some 3mm paracord. I've got bank line in here, I've got 550 paracord. It's just literally a bag of string. So you know what we like to make tripods and shelters and all sorts of bits and bobs, and string is king because it's one of the most difficult things to make when you're out bushcrafting, and that's why a lot of people carry it. You know, there's loads of things you can make from the forest. String's difficult and a blade's difficult. That's why we always tend to carry a cutting tool of some kind, because you know, trying to fashion one is it's just impossible unless you've got like the skills from the Iron Age, things like that. But no, cutting tool and cordage, I'd say, are two of the most important things that we carry on a day hike. Next up, we have water and a cup or pot, something to boil it in. You saw this earlier when I was having my brew. It's just a USGI cup. It has a fitting lid. Now I will say, if you've got the opportunity, always get something with a lid, because it just cuts your boiling time down like probably 30%, because all of that heat that's radiating off, it gets put back in. So yeah, always get a lid. Like as you can hear with this, it's a loose fitting lid so steam can get out, very important. If you don't try and boil water in anything that's got a screw top lid, because basically all you're doing is making yourself a bomb. So yeah, loose fitting lid. Some have holes in, this one doesn't, but it easily lets all the steam out. Again, this is an NALGENE bottle. It's sort of like the USGI shape, which is great because it just fits in. That was purposefully built for the cup. I like these cups. They just work for me. Then on to what you're going to cook on. This is a little stove. It's from one of the Chinese websites. It's made by a company called Lixada. You saw it being used before. It's got a little windshield. It's got the stove itself, which is tiny and weighs like probably half an ounce. And I bring some meths, or in this case bioethanol. I have got a big bottle that I take if I'm going on expeditions, but just for a day this probably takes about 100 ml. It's enough for 2 or 3 brews. You don't want to be carrying weight that you don't need. That's your stove. Okay, next on the list, cutting tools. Now I always have one little one in my pocket. This is a Joker. It's a 2.5 inch folder with an olive wood handle. It's they're made in Spain. They're a great little knife. UK legal carry, doesn't lock or anything. It's just a lovely little folder, and that goes quite a lot of places with me. Beautifully made, strong, sharp. Not much more to say about that one. Also, I tend to carry a small fixed blade. Obviously you can't do a lot of heavier tasks with this. You certainly can't batten with it. Now this one I've had for many years. One of my friends, Matthew's, got a very similar knife. It has got a marking on, but for the life of me I can't remember who made it. So Matt, if you're watching this video, put a comment in to say who made it, because I've absolutely no idea. It's got brass bolsters, it's got a stacked birch bark handle, which I absolutely love. It's warm. We take these to the Arctic, they're warm. Even if your hands are covered in like cooking stuff, grease or anything, they tend to stay grippy, and they're zero maintenance. Give it an oil up once every now and again. I use walnut oil on it because I sometimes do a bit of food prep, so walnut oil is great because it's obviously food safe, and it kind of hardens in and almost like a varnish, so great. Not a massive knife. I know there's some people out there thinking, wow, what can you do with that, because it's only like about a 3.5 inch blade. You'd be surprised. This little thing punches well above its weight, and it goes a lot of places with me. Comes in a lovely sheath. Yeah, one of my favourites. And third, on the cutting tools, I like to carry my SILKY saw. This is the SILKY POCKETBOY. I think it's called the Outback edition. They're just, I did used to have the Laplander, and these are superior in cutting. However, one thing they do have is they have a very brittle blade, so if you don't know what you're doing, the Laplander will bend. You probably won't get that kind of forgiveness with this, it'll probably snap. So make sure that if you're buying the SILKY, that you're au fait with your sawing, you're not, you're going to be able to use it correctly. The sheath I made myself out of a bit of scrap leather, just sits in there. I've got the option as a dangler on the belt, or just throw it in the bag. I always carry a spoon, not necessarily this spoon. This is a spoon made by one of my great friends, Dean. But if you're out, you need something to stir your brew, and also you need something to eat your food. You don't necessarily need a fork or a spork. You can always cut everything you need up into bite-sized chunks, like almost a stew, even bacon, stuff like that. You can make it into those little things, little squares, and just like shovel it in there. So yeah, forks not necessary, but I do like to have a spoon. Great thing about this one is if I wanted to, it's got this lovely little cut out in the middle, and I could wear it on my neck. Again, weighs nothing. Next, fire kit. You know what we like in the woods, we like a bit of fire, and it's one of those useful things that if you're cold, wet, like today, if I was stuck out here, one of the ways to get dry, purify water, sterilise things. And this is the pouch by Neil from Greencraft. If you go on YouTube and look up his channel Greencraft, there's a lot of good stuff on there. I bought a few things off him. One of the things there, I've got his Greencraft patch. Don't know whether you can see that. It's lovely. It's just like a footprint and a leaf, which is what we're all about, really. And he's put a lot of thought into the products he sells on Etsy. He's got an Etsy shop. This is the fire kit, and same as his boo-boo kit, which I'll be showing you in a little while. This can be opened one-handed, so if you were injured and you needed to get a fire started, you can literally grab it, tear it apart, and get into things. Now I keep a selection of fire starting stuff in here. A lighter, always take a lighter. It's great to have a fire steel and things like that, flint and steels, bow drill, whatever you like to do. That's great for practice, but in the real world, if you need a fire quick, have a lighter. Have a flame extender. These are wax discs. I'm going to improve on these. These are just literally the sort of facial white pads covered in wax, but I've got a recipe to improve on these, so I'll be knocking some of these in another video, so keep an eye out for that. I carry a little piece of fat wood, again because it's wood and it can get lost on the ground. Most of the things that I think I'll need, you'll always see a little piece of orange cord or brightly coloured cord on it. My ferro rod, 1/2 inch wide, about 6 inches long. Not much to say about these. Throws good sparks. It's just ferro rod. And finally, in here, I have a set of Strike Anywhere matches, lifeboat matches. There we have it. Finally, onto the pouches. Oh, sorry, onto the front pouches. On the right hand pouch we have, like I said before, a boo-boo kit just for a walkout. I don't carry a full first aid kit. It's made by Neil at Greencraft again, as you can see. There we go. And again, like the other one, can be easily opened one-handed. And in here I carry some plasters, band-aids, I carry a small bandage, some cleaning wipes and some antibiotic ointment. So I've got things to cover small cuts and, you know, treat them so that they don't get infected and clean everything off. That's literally all you need. When I'm out and about, sometimes this just sits in the pocket. So, boo-boo kit. I have a notepad and pen. This is a Write in the Rain notepad, and there's a Write in the Rain pen that goes with it. This just pops out and back into itself to make a full-size pen. Great little item. Now the cover for these, you can seem to get them in the States, you can't seem to get them over here, or every time I've looked they've always been out of stock. So I made my own. It's basically one piece of leather, a piece of Kydex on the back, riveted on, an elastic band that goes through it just to hold the notepad in place. Nothing special, and at my age sometimes you need to remember what you've done, remember what you're doing, take notes, make sketches. Useful bit of kit to have. And in this side I have my NEBO head torch. It's a lovely little head torch. I think it's about 400 lumens. It has just very simple modes on it. It has a bright light, a dimmer light still, then you go on to the green LEDs, and then finally the red LEDs. So that's it. It does tilt, so if you need it on your head, or you know, you need to be looking down at something, it does tilt almost all the way down. It's USB-C charged through the little port there, and it's just a great little thing. The one thing is, because it is small, you've got to remember it's only got a small battery, so once you've used it and you get back to base, give it a charge. You know, it won't do any harm to give it a charge. In this small pocket inside the bag, I carry, as most modern people have to now, a little power bank. This is a power bank from a company called INIU, or INIU. It's a 10,000 mAh power bank, so it'll charge your phone about 2 or 3 times. The little pour on the top tells you how much charge you've got left, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pour pads, and the big one in the middle, and those disappear as it runs out of charge, which I think is quite cute. It does have a little torch on the end. Don't know how useful that would be, but double click you get a little torch, and these reflective strips I put on just because it's black, and you know, if you're looking around for it at night, if you've got your head torch on, you can see it quite easily. So 10,000 milliamp hour power bank. Not much left now. We've got a pair of gloves in the front. I always recommend taking gloves in the woods. You know, there's brambles, there's hawthorn, things like that, and there's just general dirt. You know, try and keep yourself clean. So it's easier to sort of like hang up a pair of wet, muddy gloves after you've finished doing stuff than start wiping yourself down. So pair of sturdy leather gloves. Again, nothing special. Amazon, £10, something like that. And I think we're done. I think that's us. Oh, apart from on the side here, I have the MANKER E02 II, little tiny right angle torch. Again, it's tied to it, so it's got a lock off mechanism, so you have to give it 4 or 5 really good presses to bring it on, 4 or 5 really good presses to turn it off, and then it won't turn on again. But I think that's it. Yeah, so that's it locked out. So that's great for when you don't want it turned on by accident. And in the other side, I carry always an Acme Tornado whistle, bright orange, and a small silver sighting compass. I don't know the model of this, but it's like all the other compasses. You know, it's got a rotating bezel, you can see through the bezel, it's got grid lines on it, and it's also got a sighting needle and a little hole there where you can sight through. Great bit of kit, made in Sweden, I love the SILVA brand. There's only 3 compass makes I generally go with. That's SILVA, Sunto and Rector. So yeah, I think you can pretty much guarantee that all of those are great. Right, so that's it. What I'll do from here is I'll take a still of everything you've seen, obviously apart from the tarp, so that you can see these, and I'll put some links in the description to some of the stuff. Some of the stuff I've made, some of the stuff I've been given, but I will put a link into the other stuff at the cheapest price point I can find at this time, and then hopefully, you know, if you want some of the stuff, you can go and find it. I know that sometimes Neil's Greencraft shop sells out really quick, so you can message him on his Etsy store, and anything else, I'll try and put a link up for you. Okay, so last bit, some people ask how I get this into this, so I'll just come a bit closer to the camera now and I'll show you how I hang my cord with a small piece. So first, take your standing end, as I like to call it, put it under your thumb and start to wrap around in a figure of 8, and you keep doing this until you have, I'd say, about 2 feet of cord left, like that. Then you pinch in the centre, take your thumb and your little finger out and hold in the centre, and then start to wind around. Keep winding, nice and tight, and then you'll be left with a small end of cord. Now, your live end, which is you've left out there, if you start to pull it, you'll see that one of your loops starts to get smaller. That's the loop you want. So just before it disappears, grab a loop of your pardon me, if you grab a loop where you've been winding and pop it through like that, make sure it's nice and tight, and then just pull it to lock it, and there you have it, a nice hanker cord that you can use at any time. And then when you come to use it, a lot of these, on the tarp specifically, I keep these attached to the tarp. This was attached to a poncho, so I'm not going to leave it. But if that's attached to your tarp, if you just think, if you then pull it, and you'll find that it comes out without a tangle. So once more, quite quickly, here we go. Standing end in the palm, around the thumb, around the little finger, keep going, make sure that stays out of the way, figure of 8s all the way until you're left with about 2 feet. Pinch, take your fingers out, make sure your standing end's available, start to do your wrap around, wrap it, keep going, doesn't have to be super tidy, until you've got a couple of inches left. Then with your standing end, start to pull it until you see which loop's getting smaller, which is that one, you can see it there. And then on your last loop, pop it through halfway, not fully through, so you've got like a quick release, and then pull tight with your standing end, and that locks everything into place. Easy. So there you are, we're all packed up. Julie's got her haversack, I've got mine. We've scattered a few leaves everywhere, leave no trace and all that. An hour in the woods, always great to reset the clock. And guess what? It's even stopped raining. See you on the trek out. Well, as you can tell by the traffic noise, we're nearly back at the vehicle now, so that will be signing off from this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel, press the like button and press that little notification button down there, and that means that you'll get all the latest updates, all the latest videos as they come out. We're coming up to the holidays now, so you know there's 2 or 3 weeks till Christmas, New Year time, so we're hoping to get a few videos out for you before then. Maybe 1 or 2 will have a few surprises in. Can't mention too much now, you'll just have to log in and have a look. But yeah, from us to Manchester Adventures, I'm Dave.
I'm Julie.
And we'll see you on the next one. Yeah.